Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode of the Hermitcraft server. It's episode 78 and today I want to give two updates right at the very start of this episode. As you guys know, in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, I said that I was going to Pinewood Studios with Red. I have now been to Pinewood Studios with Red and it was awesome. It was so much fun just checking out all of the equipment, having chats with them, and also I just want to say a massive thank you for their hospitality and for sorting me out with all sorts of merchandise and things. I've got hoodies, I've got t-shirts, I've got two incredible books which I've been reading over the past couple of days, and I've got all the bits and pieces, lanyards and everything like that. So I'm fully kitted out in red gear, walking around town. The next thing that I want to give an update on is, as you guys know, I've got two cars. I've got my Mercedes C63 AMG, which I use as a daily driver, and also I have my T2 camper van. The C63, after owning it for almost 3 years now and doing just over 40,000 miles in it, is probably going to be going over the next couple months or weeks or so, and I'm going to be replacing it with something very rare and very Italian. Now, I know that sounds like a Ferrari, LaFerrari, or some form of classic Italian supercar. Nope, that is not the case. I'm looking into getting a 100 horsepower Fiat Panda. That's kind of my option right now, and I can't wait. I mean, I absolutely love them. I've been looking at them online, and it just seems like a great idea. Anyway, aside from all that nonsense, in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, we did a massive clearing job. It was huge. We cleared out so much water, but both this space and also the space on the opposite side of the base have now been fully cleared out, ready for all of the farms. So today, we're going to start work on the farms themselves. So this is the design that we're going to be using, originally by Unibit, and then tweaked and messed around with by Nathan Ryan. And you have to check out this video because it is honestly one of the most detailed and just meticulous redstone farming videos I think I've ever seen. So if you do want to build this thing, then that's the video to watch because you will understand every single step of the process and every single design decision that has been taken whilst building this. So here it is. This is what we're going to be constructing. Now we just have to find a spot for it, which is instantly going to be harder because this is centered around one block. Oh, I do regret the fact that my base is centered around a 2-block system. So let's see, how much dirt do we have? Next to none. Not brilliant. Not brilliant in the slightest. Where's all the dirt? I used it for the grids, didn't I? And then I left it to despawn. This is totally my own fault. Oh no! And my plan was to come by the You'll Eat Share Hermit's hut to pick up some dirt from there, but that's gone as well. Oh, maybe a dirt mining session. Oh, this is good fun though. This is good. Sometimes it's worth not having the resources. So this is the size of it. We have laid out the foundation for the actual dirt platform itself. And that's what it's going to look like. And I'll be honest, it's not noticeably off-center. Like, you would have to be really focusing to notice that that's off-center. I'm not actually that fussed by that. Not too fussed in the slightest. I mean, it's going to annoy all of you because you know it's off-center. But, no. Okay, so I'm just going to build this. We're going to fill in all of that and then we can start doing the outside. So this should now mark the end of part 1 of the process. So we have got all of the dirt in place and we have all of the blocks that are going to wrap around. The next thing that we have to do is we have to get all of the water in place. Now, as far as I can tell, just going to quickly check on the other side, the water has to go actually there. So the water goes there, and then we have another one of those on the other side. And we have another one of those in the corner. And then we also have one that goes in the middle. I got super confused then. I thought I was facing the opposite way. So we've got one dirt there, one dirt here. And then as oh my gosh, I'm making... What am I doing? Clearly my brain stopped working there. So we've got all of the water holes in place. This is where they go. Next up, sea lantern placement to light up this entire area. Now that we've done all that, it's time to pop down into the area that I completely forgot about to pick up all of the glass that we're going to need for this build. I mean, we have stacks upon stacks upon stacks of the stuff over by the super smelter, but I feel like this is a resource that I should probably make use of. I can't believe it. Another resource that I'm continually making use of is this thing. I just want to thank every single person down in the comment section that let me know about these light blue plants. I mean, I spent so long trying to find lapis, then getting bone meal and everything like that, when I could just build something like this. It's amazing. The project is going really well, but I keep having to go out on little resource gathering missions. This time, we need to gather up some lily pads so that we can A, cover up the water streams. I think I need to do that. But more importantly, B, so that our villager can stand on it. Because if the villager doesn't stand on the lily pad, then it will be in the water stream, and that means the other villager, which is meant to be throwing items towards it, the villager will pick up the item. I think that makes sense. I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest with you, but we need them. After a lot of faffing around and getting distracted, done. We are finished on the first layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually shoot off, apparently travel through that glass wall, and I'm going to do an AFK session overnight, and hopefully when I return tomorrow, I'm actually going to be, just a little bit more on the ball. I don't know what's going on with me, but my brain does not seem to be working. You know what? There's so many places that I could potentially AFK. I think this spot will do nicely. Yeah, it's been ages since we've made use of the mob farms and also the sugarcane farm, so this should do the trick. And we are back on the server after taking a pretty hefty fall, kind of bouncing off pretty much every single part of this, then I bounced off this, and I ended up on the floor. Somehow I managed to not die, but I do only have, well, I've only got 3 hearts, and apparently I don't have any food either. Anyway, let's flick this thing off and quickly take a look at just how many drops we've managed to get. Ooh. I did not realise that could happen. I will also mention that I got kicked halfway through the night due to my computer deciding to update, but by the look of things, it's still doing a pretty good job. Yeah, we have got some serious drops going on. What about sugarcane? I'm interested to see sugarcane, so that's gone into the next set of chests. And I think we might have filled up all of the sugarcane storage, at least all of it that I can reach. Next up, we have to transport villagers from our villager breeder over there, over into this area so that we can actually put them inside the system. How do these guys... There's no powered rails here. Look, check it out. No powered rails whatsoever. That is so weird. Look! I don't know if I'm going insane here. How much momentum did they have? That is really odd. That is way longer than they should have gone on for, but I'm happy for it. Look, they've stopped in perfect unison. Oh no, this guy's rolling back. This guy's rolling back. Despite my super-powered minecart rails, this thing should now be completed. I've just pushed in the slab, so this guy is now being held in place. And I think that means he can't get out. Yeah, he won't be able to get through that gap. So now we can remove all of these blocks. We can remove all of these blocks. And we can remove all of these blocks as well. Yep, so there we go. That is one villager in place there. We also have one villager that's a brown coat down here, which is going to be doing all the planting and things. Okay, first module completed. Now let's do the next one. Part 1 of the process has now been completed. Full stone slab coverage, giving us a fairly nice looking ceiling of this bottom module down here. Okay, I just got the fright of my life. Things can spawn up here. Seriously, that's probably the most scared I've ever been in Minecraft. I was just placing this dirt line head down, and then a oh my word. A creeper came along and blew up. I don't know if you quite caught that at the end there. I was fully out of breath, heart racing, everything. Part 2 is now done. All of the dirt is in place, and also the border going around the outside has gone in as well. Now let's see how this thing looks from the outside. Fairly prismarine-y. Yeah, very prismarine-y. Part 3 is now done. We've cleared out all the space for water. We've put in all of the sea lanterns, which is much easier now that I've done the first level because I knew exactly where all of these things are meant to go. And I've also placed in all of the glass and all of this area around there. Central section now built as well, and once again, much easier the second time around. Believe it or not, I really struggled with this structure here the first time I built it last night. Maybe that's because it was getting late and my brain just wasn't working. And we've run out of stone, so I don't have enough to make any of the stone slabs, so I've come down here to mine some more, but I don't have a silk touch pickaxe. Okay, let's go back. So I'm about halfway there. I've got myself efficiency 5 and unbreaking 3 and silk touch. That's all good. The only thing that we do need is mending, and I don't have any mending books whatsoever. I'm fairly certain we have a villager that has the trade though, so I'll have to have a look. Thankfully we do. Right, so we've got the book and then 26 emeralds. And there we go, 1 mending book. It is so handy having these guys sitting around just to make up for losses in the AFK fish farm. This is perfect. Hey, 1 bonus of doing the stone mining session is that you do discover diamonds. 6 diamonds from that one right there. Hopefully I get more. I think last time I got something like 50. It was insane. So this second part is now completed without all of the villagers, because our villager breeder isn't actually producing any villagers at this point in time, which I'm going to work on in the next couple seconds. But I think for now, what I want to do is A, check out how this thing looks from afar, which the answer to that is pretty cool, I think. Part of me wishes that I had done it using dark prismarine. I suppose I can fix that in the future. I think for the time being, I just want to get this thing built. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the final 2 modules in the form of a quick third-person time-lapse. Thankfully, now that I've learned how to build this thing, the build process is getting a lot more efficient. So in today's time-lapse chat, I want to talk to you about a whole bunch of different things. Thing number 1 is to explain a little bit further about the 100 horsepower Panda situation, because as you guys know, at the start of this episode I mentioned that I was going to be trading out the C63 for a 100 horsepower Fiat Panda, which to a lot of you is going to sound a little bit surprising, because of course, you know, C63 AMGs, a 6.2 litre V8, 550 brake horsepower. To go from something like that to a Fiat Panda may seem like a bit of a surprise, and that's totally justified. I will just say the Fiat Panda is meant to be a fantastically good fun car. I've been reading all sorts of reviews, and apparently it's meant to be hilariously good fun to drive. So that's something that I'm excited to try out. I'm actually going to be test driving one tomorrow. But the reason that I'm considering it is because over the past 2 years, I'd say, I've kind of transferred from liking modern cars, brand new cars, and things that have just recently come out, into liking classic cars a lot more. Now, part of this has been spurred on by the ownership of the camper van, despite the fact that, you know, the camper van has had like a handful of problems and things. The driving experience of it is so much more rewarding, and it is so much more fun to drive than any other car that I've driven. And that's like a really, really slow, terrible handling, just awful driving car, but it's so much more fun because it's classic, it's analog, you're in total control, and it's not boring. There's never a dull moment in a car like that. So what I thought I'd do is I've been kind of looking at how I could go about getting another classic car in my life, something a little bit more sporty, like a classic sports car, like a 60s or 70s Alpha or Lancia or something like that. And I thought to myself, you know what, why not get rid of the C63, have the camper van, have a fun little run around car such as the 100 horsepower Panda, and then pick up one of these classic Italian cars to just shoot around on in the weekends. And I think that's the plan at this point in time, and I'm going to be working on that over the next couple of months. So yeah, all very exciting. There is potential for some really cool things coming along. Now, the next quick thing that I just want to mention is about the mine cars type thing that I came up with. I really like the idea. It's something that I really want to do, but for the time being, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I need to really plan this out and work out how I would present it as some form of show. So thank you ever so much for the response to it. Your feedback was extremely helpful and important, and I'll be looking into the potential of doing that at some point next year, potentially. And then finally, the last thing that I want to mention is it's been ages, but you should really follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm posting on there quite frequently, so I'll put links to both of those down in the description if you do want to check it out. If you have both of those social media accounts, then you should, because that's where you get all the information for the channel. Anyway, back to Hermitcraft. And there we go! This thing is now all completed, and I have to say, I am very impressed with the way that it looks. I really like the way this farming module is coming together. Now, it's a bit of a shame that this is the first time that we're not going to have symmetry, because of course this module is going to be different to this one. So far, we've managed to maintain perfect symmetry all throughout the base. Look, you can see we have perfect lines going through both sides. These two are going to be different. I mean, Yeah, they are. There's no two ways about it. Part of me thought, you know, maybe I could build 2 sets of both of these farms, but to be honest, that will just be boring to watch. So I'm not going to do that, but this thing is now all built. Now what we have to do is get some villagers into it. The only slight issue is our villagers don't seem to be breeding very much. You can see we don't have any in the chamber. So what we're going to have to do is create some potato and carrot farms so that we can breed up villagers so that we can fill in our potato and carrot farms. Seems a bit backwards to me. Now, as you guys know, I've tried messing around with different nano farms in the past, and it hasn't gone so well. The nano farms that I built in the farming district underneath the mob spawner, they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible, and they always broke due to server lag. Whereas this one, designed by someone familiar, Mr. Ilmango, should, in theory, work absolutely perfectly. Now, as you can see, exactly the same as all other nano farms. You hold down the right click button and we get tons upon tons of drops. I'm liking this, nice and small, nice and compact. Looks like it's going to be an easy one. Just doing some resource gathering for the nano farm, and I'm kind of halfway there. I've got the pistons. We're actually going to need some slime balls as well to make those sticky pistons. We've got observers, we've got some redstone torches, redstone repeaters, we've got a handful of hoppers. I'm going to need a little bit of dirt. So that should do the trick, but we also need quartz. Lots of quartz. Or at least just some quartz. I don't seem to have any. Also, dark prismarine we're kind of going to struggle with. What's made the squid farm stop working? With all the resources gathered, it's now time to construct this thing, and I've decided to build it off over by the pumpkin and melon farms. And this one on this side is going to be for carrots, and the one on the other side is going to be for potatoes, just because I can't help but make things symmetrical. We're gonna have 2 of them. So this repeater goes here, that's a good sign. That's making good noises. And then if we pop up to the top, we have got a repeater up at the top here. And then I think a block here and a block here. And then our comparator. And this side is now also done as well, with a lovely ticking noise currently running through. So I just need to till that, placing the water right there, and there we go. We are good to do this. So, I'm going to place the potato in on this side. I've got to try and find a carrot. I guess I'm going to have to get one of those from the spawn town area. And then I'm going to try and take off and pick up a whole ton of bones. I keep forgetting that there is no spawn town. I'm fingers crossed we have some carrots left over in the dirt hut. I mean, seriously. Thankfully, I have these little dudes not too far away from my house who hopefully have been diligently growing some carrots. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one little patch of carrots so that just in case this happens again, I have plenty more of supply. You know what? I'm even going to replant it. But the good news is, now that we've actually built this thing, it seems to be working like a charm. I mean, I'm holding down the right click button, and we are hopefully getting all sorts of potatoes flowing into the inventory. Let's quickly take a look. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. In fact, I'm going to see how fast these things are coming in. Can't see it just yet. Eventually, once we fill up the stack, we should begin to see. I just want to make sure as well. Some of these aren't getting used. I'm an idiot. Yeah, the top one's not meant to be used. It's to do with chances and things. So that's all good. And as you can see, it is working incredibly fast. There's no doubt about it. Fantastic news. We actually have a working nano farm on the server. And in go the potatoes. I've used up all of the bone meal that we had in that farm right there. So hopefully that should give us enough potatoes for these guys to start breeding. You can see them traveling up. They're then going to make their way into the water streams, be traded between all of the villagers, and hopefully allow for some love hearts to start forming. Yes! There we go! There is the love. Okay, so we should start to see some baby villagers falling out the bottom of this thing shortly. Potatoes have been thrown in. These guys are enjoying themselves. We have a working system once again. And there we go. Villager has been birthed. We have been birthed the villager, and it has fallen through the system and ended up straight down in the catchment zone. Okay, so this is working. This is all good. The potatoes are still flowing in. because of how many we put into the system, but this is all good. Okay, I would say that wraps everything up for today's episode on the Hermitcraft server. I'm now going to stay here overnight, AFK up at the top right here, and make sure that all of these guys are having babies and we're getting plenty of villagers into the system so that we can transport them off in the next episode of Hermitcraft. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Two things. Number one, I apologise that my phone just went off. And number two, you should check out the latest film on the filming channel. Link will be on the end screen.